Most fights in UFC history. Jim Miller holds the record for the most fights in UFC history. With 46 UFC fights, he is the undisputed leader in this category. He has been competing since 2008 and most recently fought in 2025. Jim Miller is a true machine. Win or lose, he has always left his heart inside the octagon. His durability, consistency, and warrior spirit are almost unmatched in UFC history. Most submissions in UFC history. Charles Oliveira owns this record with an incredible 17 submission victories. He is like a snake. Once he locks you in, there is almost no escape. Some of his submission victims include Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Gamrot, and Kevin Lee. Do Bronx is the most dangerous finisher the UFC has ever seen. Most knockouts in UFC history. This record belongs to the heavyweight powerhouse Derrick Lewis. With 16 knockout wins, Derrick Lewis hits like a sledgehammer. When he connects, the lights go out, no questions asked. Most wins in UFC history. Once again, we see Jim Miller at the top. He has earned 27 UFC victories, defeating fighters like Donald Cerrone and Charles Oliveira. Miller's longevity and consistency inside the UFC are unreal, and he absolutely deserves a spot in the UFC Hall of Fame. Longest winning streak in UFC history. The longest winning streak in UFC history is 16 consecutive wins, shared by Anderson Silva and Islam Makhachev. If Islam Makhachev wins his next fight, he will become the sole record holder, further cementing his legacy in MMA history. Most title fight wins in UFC history. This legendary record belongs to Jon Jones. He has achieved 16 title fight victories, competing as a champion in both light heavyweight and heavyweight divisions. His closest challenger is George St. Pierre with 13 title fight wins. This is one of those records that feels almost impossible to break. Most control time in UFC history. George St. Pierre dominates this category. GSP accumulated a total of 2 hours and 42 minutes of control time, completely neutralizing and dominating his opponents on the ground. Most significant strikes in UFC history. Max Holloway holds this record with an insane 3,655 significant strikes landed. With Holloway's cardio, pace, and volume, this number somehow makes sense. His closest competitor is far behind, with 2,242 significant strikes. Most takedowns in UFC history. Merab Dvalishvili is the clear leader here. He has successfully completed 119 takedowns inside the UFC. His performances against Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov showcased his relentless wrestling pressure. This record looks safe for a long time. Fastest knockout in UFC history. Jorge Masvidal holds the fastest knockout record in UFC history. He knocked out Ben Askren in just 5 seconds with a flying knee. Masvidal made sure to follow up with extra strikes just to be safe. Most title defenses in UFC history. This record belongs to Demetrius Mighty Mouse. He successfully defended his UFC title 11 times. In modern MMA, achieving this level of dominance is almost unimaginable. Most takedowns in a single fight. Khabib Nurmagomedov owns this record. In one fight, the Eagle completed 21 takedowns, making his opponents seriously reconsider their career choices. Youngest champion in UFC history. Jon Jones became the youngest champion in UFC history at just 23 years old. He achieved this in the light heavyweight division and went on to defend his title multiple times, an absolutely incredible achievement. Most significant strikes landed in a single fight. This legendary record belongs to Max Holloway. Against Calvin Kattar, Holloway landed an unbelievable 445 significant strikes. Just counting them feels exhausting.